The markets are closed, but the business stories are just heating up. Hello, I'm Robert Tan, sitting in for Maya Rodriguez. Catch up with us on Business Brief. Asian shares are mixed as the U.S. stock market sinks from record highs, with Wall Street digesting developments like trade relations with China and big tech profits. Japan's Nikkei 225, South Korea's Kospi, and Australia's ASX 200 are trading in the green, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng, China's Shanghai Composite, and Singapore's Straits Times are in the red. In currency markets, the Australian dollar falls against the US dollar, while the greenback slips against other Asian currencies. In commodities, gold drops 0.1%, and oil prices show mixed movements. In cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin gains more than 3%, and Ethereum rises nearly 3%. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. joins the APEC economic leaders meeting in Jeonju, South Korea on Friday. The president called on APEC members to continue advancing growth, inclusivity, and sustainability amid the current global challenges. He also pushed for the restoration of the World Trade Organization's dispute settlement mechanism. This will protect smaller economies. He also called gender equality a vital component for economic growth. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. orders more government agencies to cut costs on their construction projects. This after the Public Works Department decided to reduce material costs by up to 50% to match current market prices. The president's order include the Education and Agriculture departments, among others. Marcos said the move aims to significantly lower the cost of farm-to-market roads, classrooms, hospitals, and other infrastructure projects by 2026. He added that the savings would be reallocated to the government's social programs. Traffic along major thoroughfares has so far been light on the eve of All Saints' Day. Let's get an update from Paulo Barcelon as he joins us from the NLEX Command Center in Balintawak. Paulo?
Robert, traffic along the country's major expressways remains generally smooth and manageable this Undas as many travelers left early in the week to avoid the holiday rush. Here at the NLEX Balintawak Toll Plaza, traffic has been light to moderate since this morning with only brief queues at toll booths. NLEX officials say the bulk of motorists already traveled Wednesday and Thursday, with daily vehicle volume reaching about 450,000, typically rising by 5 to 10% during the Undas period. Southbound traffic at SLEX also remains generally smooth, except for minor slowdowns near the Calamba Toll Plaza earlier this morning. SLEX spokesperson June Vitug says early class suspensions this week helped ease congestion on the roads.
Nakatulong po yung siguro nung Monday parang nag-declare po ata na holiday na dahil wala nang nag-declare po ata ang DepEd, 'di ba, na wala nang pasok ang mga school. Tapos siguro nakaluwag din sa mga natin, yung mga exit natin, mga local roads natin, kaya mabilis din ang throughput ng mga sasakyan.
Meanwhile, the PNP Highway Patrol Group says over 1,500 personnel have been deployed nationwide to ensure safe and orderly travel during the long Undas weekend. Robert.
Thank you for that report, Paulo Barcelon. The Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines assures the public that the 3 aircraft linked to former lawmaker Zaldy Co, which are already out of the country, cannot be sold or re-registered abroad. CAAP Director General Raul Del Rosario said Co's remaining 10 aircraft are still in the Philippines and cannot leave without filing flight plans with the CAAP. The agency also placed a hold on the deregistration of all 13 aircrafts, which blocks any attempt to sell or transfer them. Del Rosario added that the recovery of the aircraft would depend on the result of ongoing forfeiture proceedings. Accountability in public spending takes center stage as Congress prepares to probe the controversial $389 million Dolomite Beach project. The House inquiry, set for November, is part of a broader push to restore transparency in infrastructure spending, a key issue for investors and development partners. Public Accountants Committee Chair Terry Ridon says the hearing will focus on possible overpricing, corruption, and whether the project was ever included in the official Manila Bay Rehabilitation Plan. Businessman Francis Lloyd Chua, supplier of the Dolomite Beach, is under scrutiny as his listed firm, Asiabest Group International, missed its valuation deadline for a major restructuring. Asiabest told the Philippine Stock Exchange that internal talks are ongoing, with initial results due by end October and a full plan to be presented on November 5. Chua, who also holds significant interest in EEI Corporation, is consolidating his construction and infrastructure assets under the publicly listed vehicle, a move seen as strategic amid growing market pressure for greater transparency and governance. The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, reports light traffic on the eve of All Saints' Day. Speaking at the Bilyonaryo news channels at the forefront, Gabriel Go, head of Task Force Road Clearing, said they are preparing for the influx of people coming back from the provinces on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Some of the commuters could head straight to work as soon as they arrive in Manila. Go said this could trigger a major traffic jam. The MMDA is closely working with the Philippine National Police and local government units for the orderly observance of Undas 2025.
This time around, we really have to be not only cautious, but also yung collaboration natin with the enforcement is really at par right now, at nasa standard tayo to ensure public safety.
We're taking a short break. More stories are up next. You're watching Business Brief. Security Bank VP and fixed income head Dino Aquino expects inflation to remain benign. On BNC's Business 360, he says Security Bank forecasts inflation to be at around 1.9%, though his personal outlook is at 1.6%. Meanwhile, he said the government's 5.5 to 6.5% GDP target for the year may be too optimistic.
It's tough to reach that target, if you ask me. Even Governor Remolona echoed that the 2026, he's mentioning that 2026 could average around 5.3. So it's still at low 5. So he's just looking at 2027 for the uptick in GDP. So that could mean that the BSP would remain accommodative well into next year.
Aquino expects another rate cut in December and more in 2026. Meanwhile, the Philippines joins the world's most prestigious culinary ranks as 9 local restaurants earn Michelin stars for the first time. It's a landmark moment for Filipino cuisine, boosting tourism, jobs, and national pride. Paulo Barcelon was at the unveiling ceremony and he filed his support.
Filipino cuisine officially joins the ranks of the world's finest as the country's culinary and tourism scenes celebrate the launch of the Michelin Guide in the Philippines. Chef Josh Boutwood's Helm restaurant at the Ayala Triangle Gardens in Makati bagged the country's first ever 2 Michelin stars for his exemplary culinary techniques that mix the familiar in Philippine cuisine with something more memorable and unique.
Nobody can beat anyone's Lola's adobo. And that's always going to be the case.
Yes.
But so what we're going to try and do is to try and create something that they've never tried before and enjoy that.
8 restaurants also bagged top honors. These are Asador Alfonso, Chelera, Galerie by Chele, Hapag, Inato, Casa Palma, Linamnam, and Toyo Eatery. Actor and restaurateur Marvin Agustin's Kochi restaurant, known for its roast suckling pigs and different takes on Filipino cuisine, was among several restaurants who bagged the Bib Gourmand Award, a distinction given by Michelin inspectors for restaurants offering the exceptionally good food at the best value. 3 restaurants of the renowned Forest family, Luso, Steak and Fries, and Ramen Ron, and Gordon Ramsay's Bar and Grill in Manila also bagged the Michelin Selected Award. In total, over 100 Philippine restaurants will be part of the 2026 Michelin Guide.
So you find the authenticity of the Filipinos' flavors, but also through open-mindedness. Chefs here are open to the world. Some have been trained outside, so they are redefining Filipinos' cuisine in an innovative way but also reinforcing its identity.
Tourism Secretary Cristina Frasco calls this a big win for the Philippine tourism and the culinary scene.
Hindi lang yung mga restaurants yung makakabenepisyo nito, pati na rin po yung ating mga magsasaka, yung ating mga mangingisda, yung growers and suppliers natin, dahil dadami po yung pupunta sa Pilipinas para kumain dito sa mga lugar na ito.
The restaurants in the 2026 Michelin Guide Philippines were selected based on 5 global criteria: quality of ingredients, mastery of technique, harmony of flavors, chef's personality, and consistency. Inspectors are already on the lookout for Filipino restaurants who may make it to the 2027 Michelin Guide. Paolo Barcelon, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Trade competition is heating up in our region as Indonesia moves to match Malaysia's new zero tariff access to the United States. Indonesia is now negotiating a similar deal on palm oil after Malaysia secured duty-free entry under a new trade agreement with Washington. Chief negotiator Erlangga Hartarto says talks with the Trump administration will resume next month right after the APEC summit in South Korea. He confirmed that Indonesia is seeking the same zero tariff privileges for palm oil, cocoa, and rubber, its biggest exports to the U.S. Negotiations were earlier delayed by the U.S. government shutdown, but mostly terms are now nearly final. Indonesia, the world's largest palm oil producer, says it remains confident despite Malaysia's head start. The move highlights growing competition among ASEAN exporters and the urgency for countries like the Philippines to strengthen trade access and value-added agri-exports to stay in the game. We're taking another breather, a look at how Philippine shares did today when we return. Stay tuned. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang meets with top executives of Samsung Electronics and Hyundai Motor during his first official visit to South Korea in more than a decade, strengthening ties in artificial intelligence collaboration. Huang sat down with Samsung Chairman Jay Lee and Hyundai Motor Executive Chair Yoo-Sun Chung over fried chicken and beer at a local restaurant in Seoul's Gangnam District. Crowds of fans and media gathered outside to catch a glimpse of Huang, who heads the world's first $5 trillion company.
Very grateful and very honored that NVIDIA is the first company in history to reach $5 trillion. He was walking. The facts are that artificial intelligence is the most impactful technology of our time. It is the most impactful technology of all time. This is very likely going to be the largest technology industry the world's ever known. And so, is it possible for NVIDIA to be much larger than us today? I think the answer is absolutely so.
Colombian President Gustavo Petro is struggling to access his own salary after being hit with U.S. sanctions. Petro, his wife, one of his sons, and his interior minister were recently added to the U.S. Treasury's blacklist by President Donald Trump. The sanctions froze their assets in the United States and barred them from doing business with U.S.-linked firms. The White House accused Petro of failing to fight drug trafficking, a claim his camp denies. U.S. President Donald Trump urges the Senate to scrap the filibuster rule. The move would allow Republicans to bypass Democrats and reopen the federal government. In a post on Truth Social, Trump said Democrats have gone stone-cold crazy, calling for the use of the nuclear option. The filibuster is a long-standing Senate tactic used to delay or block legislation by extending debate. It requires 60 votes to override, giving Democrats leverage over the 53-seat Republicans' majority, which has led to the current government shutdown since October 1. And that's a wrap for today's Business Brief. I'm Robert San. Join us again next week as we bring you the stories that help you plan your next big, bold moves in business. Only here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel.